You know, this new season of Demon Slayer, it's felt pretty off. We don't got Zenetsu, we don't got a Nosuke, Tanjiro doesn't even have his, normal outfit. It's really giving OG Season 1 vibes.
Yeah, we're missing the best character you can ever possibly think of.
Who?
Murata.
Who? Hey guys, welcome back to the Anime Vibes. I'm your host Joku, and I'm here with
Drip Knight.
And in today's episode, we're talking about a series that we hold very close to our hearts. A series that we all love, that is universally loved, and it's gone to shit. It's horrible now. It's outrageous, what they've done to it. Of course, we're talking about My Demon Slayer.
Let's see if I can go with the Japanese names. Like Kimetsu no Yaiba.
No. Demon Slayer, I don't know about you. I loved Season 1. Movie, well, I like Season 1 in the end.
Okay, good.
The movie,
good.
Amazing. Seen it, I think, actually 9 times. I've counted now. And a lot of it wasn't by choice. But, and then Entertainment District, which easily is one of the best, I think, seasons of anime. It's up there for top tier, seasons as a whole.
I mean, look, I can't deny that. I don't think it deserved to win Best Fantasy. I'm so salty about that. Always, honestly. But it was really good.
Yeah, no, what is it called? Best Fantasy? No, but for best, what is it called?
For one of the best seasons
as a whole, yeah.
Anime, a good way.
There's no arc that feels as well. I will say this, as a manga reader, it's also, there's no arc I feel like that was translated just as well as the Entertainment District. One thing I do love about Demon Slayer is I genuinely believe the anime is better than the manga. Not only because of the animation, but it's just the way they make things flow and the way things just come together in the final product. It just feels better. So for Entertainment District to already be such a good arc in the manga, for them to escalate it or elevate it to a whole new level, amazing.
I mean, like most mangas might say, most animes are their finished product. Okay, maybe not most would say it, but most
definitely not One Piece.
Yeah,
One Piece is not, the anime is not supposed to be the proper version of Oda's work. The manga is, but for Attack on Titan, the anime is supposed to be the final product. The manga is just his original.
It's original, but at the same time, it was it's not like a rough draft because he still put thought into it.
Well, yeah, no, the manga is supposed to be really good, but the creator of AOT, his name is slipping my head. He actually works with the anime staff to make sure that the anime is the proper picture he wanted, because he can't put everything into those pages sometimes. He's limited to how many panels he can use, whereas in anime, he can, obviously there's still limits, but it's a lot wider how much he can put into a scene, how much he can flow.
And plus with manga, you're on a time basis.
Yeah, weekly, or in his case, monthly. Yeah.
So you still you have to crunch yourself, put everything onto that piece of
Yeah.
But with anime, of course, there's kind of a deadline because it's technically yearly, but there's also leeway because you have a whole team with you.
I think the best anime adaptations are the ones that take the original content of the manga and expand on it in ways that manga can't. For example, the best one, Demon Slayer, is the best example of it. Fight scenes. In manga panels, you can only do so much with the action. But in the anime, you can flow the panels into each other and have something in between them to make a whole new product that looks better. I'm sorry, I'm a manga reader, I'm also an anime fan, but if you genuinely think fights look better in manga, in anime as a whole...
Okay, maybe not as a whole, but there are some fights.
Oh no, there's some fights in the manga that are better. I'm saying, but as a whole, typically anime fights are going to look better than manga fights.
I'll give you that. No, you know what? I'll give you that.
What is it? I like
Demon Slayer being, of course, the prominent and biggest example known to man that, if you take the manga and then you look at the anime.
Yeah, manga's great. I enjoy the fight scenes. It feels a little empty at times, but it's still good. But then you look at the anime and you're like, oh, what am I watching? It's amazing.
There's elevation, and then there's cultivating your own artwork.
Well, for sure.
And that's exactly what Yupo Table literally did with Demon Slayer.
And that's, one thing I can say. Everyone's like, oh, Demon Slayer is carried by the animation. It is. If we're being real.
Yeah, I mean...
It definitely is, but...
But, I mean, it's not that thing that's carried by their animation.
Exactly.
I mean, why say it as a negative? Why?
It's not. It's carried by its animation? Okay, good. It's an anime. The animation is what separates it from the manga.
Exactly. If I say I'm a Demon Slayer fan and you're I don't know, a 7 Days 6 fan, I'm gonna look at you
I'm not, but...
Oh,
I have to emphasize that for the record.
Okay, look, I'm attacking myself, honestly. You
Yeah.
know, 7 Days Six fan, happy here. Kind of. Point being, though, like, if you find a fan who tries to criticize Demon Slayer for the animation, you're just...
My thing is
It's not
this.
fair.
By saying that, you're quite literally admitting that the manga is mid, which, fair. You know what I mean? Not everything's going to be good. But you're then admitting that anime has made the manga even better, which makes Demon Slayer as a whole, as a property, better. So I never understood the argument that Demon Slayer is carried by the animation as an insult. It's like, it is carried by the animation, but I prefer that than it being like literally one to the manga, or having, but like, it's what's the alternative? Having bad animation?
I mean,
The
yeah,
story
like,
is told. There's no shifting what's in the manga at that point, unless you want to Promise Neverland it and then completely ruin it. But you get the idea.
I definitely got your idea, but the thing that I kind of have to... Animation can only help so far.
Oh yeah, if you have a poor story, it doesn't matter.
If you have such a boring, like, just season 3
of Demon Slayer, like,
boring
it's been
is a word I would use to describe this.
Not episode 1. Episode 1
was amazing.
It was amazing. Animation was great. Storytelling, the comedy, it was great.
They didn't need to go hard with the Infinity Castle.
They were just like, oh, Demon Slayer is carried by the animation? Yeah, it is. We'll show you. But,
oh, wait, is that our cousin just standing still? Let's make him look
just flip the camera, show all these effects for no reason.
I've never seen a character stand still and look so cool.
But welcome to Demon Slayer, where the animation carries it.
And then next thing you know, you just have, like, a casual conversation just turned into, like, a fight scene, it felt like. And that's just incredible to see. Like, god damn.
Animation is Tanjiro, the way he's carrying all that weight on his back. Like,
Look, Ufotable was carrying Demon Slayer. Everyone can say that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are times when Demon Slayer makes Ufotable drag their feet. And I say season 3 is kind of a good example of that. Cause
after episode 1, it sucks. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's slow. I don't care about Tanjiro fighting this robot thing of what is
the fish?
No, about what is it?
Robot. Oh, what's the sword.
What's the dude's name or the member? Not Hashira.
The one who like
the demons. What are the demons called? The top 6 Upper Moons. Moon? I don't care about him fighting. What is it called? Upper Moon robot, or like a robot of the Upper Moon one?
Oh, clearly the 6 arms.
Yeah, it's clearly what he looks like. You know what I mean in design.
Yeah,
but I don't care about that. Show me him actually fighting him.
And plus, like when he eventually won against it. I mean,
he got a sword out of it. Like it felt too. And I typically like these, but it felt too video game like. Like, oh, you defeated this quest. Here's your reward. It's like that felt too convenient. What's the explanation? What's going on here?
I mean, and also he technically got a power up, but then 4 episodes later, you see him get ass whooped.
It makes no sense what's going on.
So like it feels like he progressed, but then he didn't progress. Mm-hmm. And then episode 5 came out, and then we'll get to that when we get there.
Also, I don't remember his name. The little kid. I'm not the biggest fan. He's not horrible. Like there's worse characters in anime, but and I don't hate him. But also, it's like if you didn't exist, I wouldn't exactly like shed a tear.
Look, there's damsels in distress, mm-hmm. and then there's
damsels.
He, of course, is lower.
If he died to one of the fish things, and Muchiro like just not one scene where Muchiro like runs back. Gosh. If he was like, all right, R.I.P., I would have been like, yeah, fair play.
If he touched the pot and just got sucked in, and then I'm like,
who cares? I'm like. Honestly, that would have made me care for his character more. You know what I mean? Then, like...
I would feel so tried. Like, now Tanjiro can get mad, and then we have a rage moment.
Oh, no! Anyway, so, like... but even then, just comparing it to Season 1, which I would say is, before this, the worst season of Demon Slayer, compared to Mugen Train, and Entertainment District, because I count those as 2 separate
So we're doing by arcs, so what's Season 1's arc called? Like, the spider arc?
That arc is good, but that's the end of Season 1. I'm saying the entire start of season until that arc is kind of slow.
Yeah.
There's Tanjiro's back episode 1, which is it's the backstory episode. It's great. It's whatever. Okay. Then we get the whole training thing, which feels a bit slow. Like it was interesting. Then he has to go onto the mountain and fight. And again, it's like, what are we?
Oh yeah, I guess the river ones who could the demons who go underwater.
No, you don't remember? He had to fight the dude with the
the hand.
Yeah,
the hand demon. Yeah,
and then he had to fight the dude underwater, and then he had to fight what is it called? Then he met
the No, what about the one who does like do like he taps a drum and switches?
Then he met Zenitsu,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
they got sent to the what is it called? Place where the guy with the drums is able to shift. The former Lower Moon.
He was a lower man.
He was a Lower Moon 12, and then he lost his position, and that's why he was in there trying to like kill as many people as he could, so Muzan would
Bring him
bring him back up to Lower Moon.
Huh. Okay.
That's also why he had like a scarred eye, I think it was, because like he had the eye, and Muzan ripped it out because he's like, you're not worthy of this position.
Damn.
Which I will say was good setup for him to later on just wipe out the entire Lower Moon because he was so disappointed in all of them.
I mean, Rui, of course, being the best Lower Moon.
He's the only. Well,
he's the only one to survive. Well,
there's two. There's
That's
also what was it? Not Emu. What's his name? Enma.
And yeah,
There's Enma. There's Ryui, and then there's the former dude that we met, who are the only ones with actual personalities. And Ryui clearly got the most development. Enma literally died, and we didn't get a backstory. Hand dude, his backstory.
Enma was just there to hype up Akaza.
He was just there for a placeholder villain.
Pretty much.
Like, we'll get to that in a sec. But then after that, we meet Inosuke and Zenitsu, and that's when Demon Slayer starts to feel good because you have your core three of the main cast, and I mean Nezuko's always there, but I mean Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Inosuke, which I think are the trio that make up the series.
And Nezuko merchandise, you know.
Yeah, Nezuko. I mean, she's a very important factor, but let's be honest. In season 1, she's just there for merchandise. She does nothing. Exist.
I know I've seen like a figurine, a statue of her like every single moment she's ever out.
Yeah, of course.
When she calls out the box, when she's getting stabbed, when she has
There's Funkos of that. There's Funkos of her running. There's Funkos of her crawling out of the box,
dodging the cut from that one person. I forgot what her name was.
Daki?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's literally Funkos, or just not even Funkos, just figures of Nezuko, because she is simply a merchandise machine. But that changes after the Spider arc, where we finally get to see her do something with the whole burning blood.
The blood demon arc.
Yeah, the blood demon arc that she picks up, which isn't really explained, but we can look past that for now.
I mean,
for how good that arc was as a whole, because we get our core 3, we get the first arc with feels like actual stakes, because we've seen people get killed, but like we're seeing demon slayers now getting killed with the Ryubi like casually slashing.
Yeah, and the fact that like we see his backs. This, I think, was the start of the trend of like where we see backstories when the villain dies.
Yeah, and I think we also saw the one for the river one, did we not?
I don't think we really saw it. He just explained it.
Okay. Well, so there's that. But yeah, then this would be the first arc where we get to actually experience backstories for the demons, because these are the start of the demons that matter.
Pretty much. For like, I still don't like the fact that like it's the crow that tells you where to go.
I'm not against it, because how else?
I wish it was like...
Wait, we forgot a big part of season 1. When he meets Homegirl demon, who was like, I will heal Nezuko, and then he fights the ball and the arrow one. Simp. Yeah, like, and then I'll be honest, like he meets Muzan, that was hype, and then he ends up fighting 2 random that they weren't even Lower Moons. Like, what were they? You know,
how do you go from meeting Muzan, having this most intense like that conversation?
It also feels weird that Muzan, he's like, oh, I really want you to kill this boy and like, and the girl, whatever.
And like Muzan easy.
And then he doesn't even send Lower Moons. He sends 2 randoms. That feels so weird.
If you really want him dead,
that's what send Akaza right then and there, bro. Like, would have been a whole different story.
Would have been easy.
But going back to because we forgot that, but going back to the Spider arc, we have our core 3. We have actual stakes. It's the first time where it feels like Tanjiro can't win. You know what I mean? His sword breaks in half, and everything's down, and then we get the first amazing episode, like, or I should say in quotations, perfect episode of Demon Slayer. Episode 19, where Tanjiro goes all out. He finally...
I still don't think a single moment yet has ever... There's not the fact that it's topped it, it's more of the music. No, I don't think... Like, there's a lot of moments that top it in animation, but I think there's a moment that tops
everything together. I think that is the best scene in Demon Slayer that we have gotten, because... Especially if you go in blind, because at this point, Hino Kamikagura, that's... You have... Obviously, today, there's no way to avoid, like, Tanjiro with fire. It's in every merchandise.
Yeah.
But, exactly, literally your shirt. But back then, when season 1 was still new, if you did not
You
know,
just didn't watch
that
it.
blew your brain. You know what I mean? Like what Tanjiro can do fire stuff.
And then like when time was slowing down, and you saw like his dad dancing. Like,
You get
who
back.
is this 3D model dancing in front of me?
Was that 3D
It
model?
was 3D.
I honestly didn't know. I couldn't tell. It was so like on the verge of like it could be 2D animation that's just really smooth, or it could be 3D. But
I mean, at that point, I was glued on because I was kind of interested in what was going on.
because Tanjiro lost his sword, Nezuko was all cut up. You know what I mean? Tanjiro was literally about to die, and we didn't think like for me in that moment, I was like, Gyu's gonna show up, cool. And then for Tanjiro to actually pull out a technique, and this is still early on, so it doesn't feel like an ass pull. Because if this was like this season, yeah, like calm down. You know what I mean? Like why is this out of nowhere? But because it's still season one, and this is still early onto his his journey, he's able to like be like, oh wait, I do know something. This feels familiar. This breathing style and everything. And he's
Yeah,
able
my body is acclimated for water. My body is
fire. Like he always said, he felt off.
for sun, I guess,
Or for the
right?
sun, yeah. But it just makes sense. So for that, there's nothing I can think of in Demon Slayer that has come close to how amazing that feeling was. Like the only thing was Tengen, Tanjiro, and Inosuke and Zenitsu versus Gyutaro and Daki, which is a good. It's like top two. Those are the top two moments for me.
Hands down, episode 10 of season 2 will always be one of my favorite episodes.
Oh yeah, I think honestly, as an episode, I prefer that one. But in terms of moments, the whole
episode 19, yeah. The season 1, episode 19, moment wise, yeah, no,
and then
we both agree.
We can admit also that season one, and just in general, to conclude those thoughts, horrible start. Like it's so boring.
Oh,
Spider Arc picks up. It's really good. We see
there's so much.
Hashira.
There's literally so much you could cut out to make it so much better.
The whole pond demon thing. I'm sorry, that felt like a canon filler. Like, what did we learn from that? Like, literally, Tanjiro didn't get any power ups. I guess it's just to fill out. Like,
technically, it did teach Tanjiro one thing. I mean, how to do the. No, he already knew how to do water breathing.
He had all 10 styles already. He just was showing them off one by one. That arc just feels like unnecessary. Oh, we need Tanjiro to do something before we cut to the next arc. Otherwise, it feels too rushed. And at that point, fair enough, but it's just so boring.
Yeah.
When you watch season one Demon Slayer, you're just trying to get to Zenitsu and Inosuke. Second you meet them, it's all good. But until before then, it's really slow. Minus.
So we can both agree, Tanjiro being alone, not having Zenitsu and Inosuke to pick it back off, is not like a really good
Tanjiro
mixture.
is a very. I love Tanjiro. He's great. He's a kind guy. He's horrible on his own. I'm sorry. Like his relationship with Nezuko is sweet, but
it's
he can't. Yeah, like it just feels cliche. Like, oh, I love my siblings and they were hurt, so I must heal them. You know, like you see in every anime. Whereas with Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Nosuke, they make such a good trio of characters. You know what I mean? You got Tanjiro, who's like the kind, honest, the leader of the group. You know what I mean? In the sense of like, the audience.
The one who takes it like the most serious out of all.
Yeah, the audience, the one that the other two look up to. He's the core of the three.
Yeah, like he's the reason why they exist. Training.
Then there's Zenitsu, who's like the scaredy cat, but is the powerhouse. If we're being honest here, he's strong, but under certain conditions, and a lot of people. He's different enough from Tanjiro in terms of he's scared. He's not brave like Tanjiro. He's super strong, and Tanjiro is strong, but Zenitsu is on a whole nother level, if you ask me. And then you got Inosuke, the hothead. You know what I mean?
Who has the face of be the strongest, but also like he just
actual. I say actual. He's the leader of the group. Tanjiro is the actual leader, and he's the one who like they just rub off each other perfectly in terms of personality.
Their chemistry is really.
It's the better My Hero trio. Anyway,
because I mean,
if I had to choose Deku, Bakugo, or Todoroki, or Tanjiro and Zenitsu Inosuke, those three.
But we had to look at it in that way. Who's the mirror of who?
Deku is supposed to be Tanjiro, and Inosuke and Bakugo is Zenitsu Todoroki. The main, the anger, and the
powerhouse.
Yeah.
Huh. I guess Zenitsu is. I guess Todoroki is kind of. No, well,
that's a whole other conversation. But the point is, like, a lot of like anime, they have their trios. You know what I mean? In Naruto, it's Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura at the start. I mean,
yeah.
In Demon Slayer, we just over the same with My Hero. In One Piece, it's even Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji in terms of the monster trio, or even Luffy, Law, and Kid. You see what I mean? Every anime has the trios are very important. In hell, if you want to go even to Dragon Ball at the start, isn't it Goku, Yamcha, and Krillin as the original for the tournament?
Yeah, kind of. It's like
I know it changes.
I know in the beginning it was Goku, Oolong, Bulma.
Yeah, I mean, even that's a trio, but I mean, like, in terms of, like, your main combat trio.
Combat trio, Goku, Krillin, and then Jackie Chan.
Wasn't it, Yamcha? I mean, like, as a
I mean,
friend group.
Yamcha was there, yeah, but like,
Jackie Chan, it was
yeah,
spoilers, it was Master Roshi, but, like, I'm saying, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Like they pick, like, yeah,
Three,
they're there for each other. They
Master
go to
Roshi
each
is
other.
like it feels like the Urukadaki more of, you know what I mean? Like, or, I don't know, there's no good, or Endeavor, like, you know what I mean? He's the, yeah, the
He's
guy,
the peak that you
all three
want
of
to
them,
reach,
like, want to reach, you know what I mean?
and then he was there to humble all of them.
Yeah, but
Which
back to Demon Slayer.
so
Move on.
the kind of the reason why I brought up Tanjiro and we both agreed that Tanjiro being alone in the beginning, it didn't work off well.
Yeah, and
Where are we now? Season 3,
exactly.
his alone.
We got 2 new Hashiras, which is cool, but also we've done this before. Spider arc, Shinobu and Gyu. Cool, they were great. I love them in that arc. Mitsuri is literally, I think, she's my second favorite Hashira. Muichiro's cool. I have nothing
I mean,
against him.
he's a man of few words, which sometimes can be cool, but also he's just an idiot.
I like that he's the mist Hashira and his brain always acts like, or he comes off as mist, like hazy, in the sense of, like, he's calm and doesn't know what's going on. Like, he's lost in a mist.
Yeah, okay. If works off his power, his
Also, he's 12, which we have to remember. He's literally younger than Tanjiro. Tanjiro's 14 or 15.
dang, I forgot. I forgot Demon Slayer how dark it is. Like most Demon Slayer corps don't even live past 25.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Goku being a good example.
Anyway, my point is, the Master's like 24.
What?
Yeah. Blind dude? Yeah, he's like 24. Guillaume is the oldest, like, main character that isn't a demon. Guillaume's 27. He's older than the Master, yeah.
What about Tanjiro's dad? Wouldn't that technically make him
Where is he?
Oh. But technically before he died, he was probably the oldest
Alive.
alive.
Like, I mean,
Then
alive characters.
then fair enough. Fair enough.
My point is, season 1, to wrap that up, very slow start, picks up near the end because that's when we get the main trio. That's when we get our trio for the rest of the series. We get to meet some Hashira. We meet all the Hashiras actually, which is a great. Like, also Tanjiro has a clear goal with Nezuko now, because before he was like, I'm gonna heal Nezuko, but it's like,
How are you gonna heal Nezuko?
bro,
Why are you gonna? Well,
you're in a
not
whole
why.
corporation. We know nothing of it. Is everyone okay with this? Like, for a group that's meant to kill demons, the fact that you're harboring a demon and trying, like, this would feel off, and then so it's handled by the end of that, and it feels just really smooth.
Also, like the last episode of season 1, you meet all the Hashiras, and
It's not last, but like, it's the
Well,
last like few episodes.
yeah, definitely last week because I remember it was the last episode was like the training, and then they would go off to the train. But I guess for the last arc, you could say.
In a sense, yeah.
So like they meet the Hashiras, we get to see their personalities kind of on full
Yeah.
display. Like Tengen being a man of like shiny bling bling, Rangoku being the ones of the rules.
By the end of season 1, you have your idea of what Demon Slayer is, and it's good. You go to Mugen Train, amazing. Also, it's really short, because you can just watch a movie instead of 9 episodes. But even then, if you look at the episodes, in comparison to, like, it's pretty long, but the movie makes it really fast.
I mean, the movie doesn't give much justice to Enmu, but at the same time, if you love Enmu and you want more Enmu, watch the episodes. If you don't care and you want to get to the good one,
there's one filler episode in the 9, so they do it in 8 episodes.
Well, I know the first episode is kind of filler because how Rango got onto
it is filler. It's not kind of filler. It is straight up is.
But I think it's good filler.
Oh no, it's good. I didn't say that, but it's filler. But
yeah, fair.
But I'm saying Mugen Train as a whole, I don't think we need to go into it too much. It's great pacing, especially if you watch the movie. There's no point where I was like, turn this off. There was times where I was like, this scene, I want to cut back to what this other character's doing. But when I thought that, they would do it right after. So it was really good pacing. I like the twist that, Enmu isn't the final demon of the arc. It's Akaza, which is a great plot twist.
That was absolutely, like, that helped the movie. That saved the movie.
I mean, that's why the arc is even as good as it is, because the train part itself is kind of, it's like the lake demon all over again. What did Tanjiro learn? You know what I mean? He goes to Rengoku to learn, and then all it was just, let's show off the Hashira, basically. Which we just got with Gyu.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, okay.
Because Rengoku did show up that he, like, protected, like, 4 cards at once.
That's what I'm saying. He showed the power of a Hashira. and it's great, but that's not enough. We need something. Oh, hi, Akaza. How are you? You know?
How's your day going?
And then we get the epic fight with Rengoku versus Akaza, which helps carry the arc. We get the unfortunate death of Rengoku, and overall makes the arc really good, in my opinion. I like it, it's out of what's animated right now, it's probably my second favorite arc. Out of like the 5 or 6 we have.
You know what?
Yeah. I feel like everyone's top 3 right now is Entertainment, Mugen Train, and then Spider, and then everything after that.
I mean,
There's because every other are kind of.
I mean, look, right now we're in the Swordsmith Village arc.
And
that is a garbage.
It's horrible.
Garbage.
But to go even compare, one reason
I guess
why.
okay. Should we still go in order because we just finished the train? Right?
Yeah, that's right. I had a great segue I'm about to get to, but because you just mentioned it's Garp or whatever the fuck. So cut it right there because what I'm about to say is leading off of that.
Okay.
So one of the reasons why I think Swordsman's Village also feels horrible is due to the fact that we just got off of the best arc in Demon Slayer. That is animated, of course. What's down the line is what's down the line. But Entertainment District, great. Animation, amazing. Pacing, perfect. Like, everything about it just felt right. New characters, Tengen and his wives and the demons, like, they're all really good for what it is.
They're all there. They're all do something.
And we just got off this, like, climactic, like, epic fight, right? And then we cut to Chandra practicing against a doll. Where, like, 3 episodes earlier, he was fighting for his life against Upper Moons. It just was up here and just brings us back down here, and it just feels so weird.
Was that during the Entertainment District?
What?
Well, you said that he was fighting the doll? What?
No. I'm saying in the second episode of season 3,
yeah,
he's fighting the doll. 3 episodes earlier, he's fighting Daki and Gyataro.
Wait, what?
Season 3.
Season 3!
Episode 2, he's fighting the doll. 3 episodes earlier, he was just fighting for his life.
Oh, I remember what you're talking about. The doll being the training dummy.
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So we go back like 3 episodes, and we're in like one of the biggest fights of his lives. And then just by then, it's like, oh, I'm back to normal, and I'm fighting a doll now because this is important. What?
Well, it doesn't feel like he's grown.
That's what I'm saying. They say he was like healed, or there was a time skip in terms of recovery, but even then, they just cut straight into the what is it called? Him like fighting a doll. And one thing I like about season Entertainment District that it's completely filler is in the first episode they show him going out on missions very briefly. When he narrates the scene, he's like, "Oh yeah, after the events of Mugen Train, me Zenitsu Nosuke slowly went on more and more." And they even show him like in that like garage or whatever with Nezuko, and she like he runs up a wall and she jumps out. You remember that?
Kind of.
That's all filler. But it's great that they have that because it helps pace everything better. It's like, okay, we're not just jumping from this to this. There's been a time skip, and instead of just mentioning, they're showing us like little bits to give us. They're showing,
not telling.
Yeah, which is one of the biggest things I think an anime, like I mentioned, needs to do over a manga. Because in a manga, you're limited to what you have.
Like you can sometimes pull out a Hunter x Hunter and just put all the words on there,
and then your manga is considered a book and not a manga, and your anime is considered the better format. However, with Demon Slayer, the anime is the better format. So because of stuff like that, where they're showing us instead of telling us. And so for this arc to kind of cut away, because he mentioned, he's like, oh yeah, Zenitsu and Inosuke have been going on their missions, and I had to go off to the Swordsmith Village to get my own sword. Or like, what is it? And it's like, okay, I get it, but also
I would love to hear like the conversation like they had between like Zenitsu and Nosuke and
Zenitsu handled off screen. We never really
see where he's going. Yeah. Inosuke is also doing his own mission, right?
Yeah, but we at least get Inosuke like on the wall and like he, messes with Tanjiro. It's like, oh, I gotcha. He's like,
they're alive.
Yeah, all that. It's like, okay, we at least see them. But for then Tanjiro to just go off on his own when he's been stuck with these 3 throughout the major arcs, you know what I mean? Because he mentions even in Entertainment, they've been doing their own thing.
And the even worst part about this now is since we don't have Inosuke and Zenitsu, what I'm willing to bet is because I never read the manga. My guess is that when we see them again, they're gonna have new power, and we're not gonna understand, or we're not gonna feel for it.
That's the issue. Even just not, you can't have your main trio, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Inosuke. We've been with them since season 1, and now all of a sudden they're just out of story. But it makes sense why, because Tanjiro needs to get a new sword and just him. But also he has a bad relationship with his swordsmith. So it makes sense why he needs to go because Zenitsu's he has the one sword. Zenitsu ain't not messing it up. You know what I mean? He got one technique. He knows how to do it. So it's really hard. It would be really hard for Zenitsu to break his sword off that one technique. Inosuke purposely dents his swords, and he likes them that way.
And the swordsman doesn't like him.
Yeah, but I'm saying he doesn't need to really get them repaired because he does it himself. He gets the blades and then he roughs it out.
Yeah.
The only reason why he had to get them fixed last time because the blades literally snapped.
Because he got humbled.
Yeah.
he got humbled real good.
So it makes sense their swords are fine, and Tanjiro to go on his own. But it just feels weird that we're having a major arc without the two of your main characters at this point. And
we have two Hashiras, but they can't replace Inosuke and Zenitsu.
And it's like it's interesting to see these two Hashira, right? But it still feels like something is missing. And it is Zenitsu and Inosuke rubbing off on Tanjiro.
I mean, okay, so technically, we do technically have a fourth character.
Genya.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm saying the other issue is that those four characters don't interact off each other.
And the fact that you're just introducing these four characters all at once, it's like, here you go.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Tanjiro, Mitsuri, and Nezuko, I love that trio. I think that was good. You know, Mitsuri gets along with Nezuko. Tanjiro and Mitsuri are able to talk about, demon slaying and all that stuff. And obviously Tanjiro and Nezuko's relationship is... So they have a great trio.
Okay.
It's the same thing with Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke. Zenitsu looks up to Tanjiro as, like, a protector. Tanjiro lets Inosuke have his, crazy thoughts because he understands it's the easiest solution. And Inosuke bullies Zenitsu. That's their trio. And we understand how it works. You know what I mean? It gets along. Tell me Tanjiro, Muchiro, and Mitsuri.
What can they really talk about? Except for the fact that
Muchiro and Mitsuri haven't interacted. Genya hasn't interacted with Muchiro. Really. I'm saying these characters haven't interacted with each other.
On screen.
So all we have is Tanjiro's interaction with all of them. So Tanjiro is the one connecting all of them. But they don't rub off each other. So it's like if Tanjiro was with Zenitsu, and then it would cut, and then he just talks to Inosuke. And Zenitsu and Inosuke never interact. It would feel off.
That would be... Oh my gosh.
So I'm saying that's the biggest issue I think with Season 3 right now, is that the characters don't flow off each other. It feels like their own separate thing.
It feels like Season 1 all over again.
Yeah, and we're not getting enough development for them in the sense of like, okay, so we got Tanjiro and Mitsuri, right? At the start, Mitsuri's gone, cool, because, she left and now she's coming back with the more recent episodes. But then we get Tanjiro and Genya. Genya is like, bro, fuck you. And it's like, okay, we don't get any, we get the relationship there, but it just feels off because it's one-on-one, and it's also a fuck you. And then we get Tanjiro and Muchiro, which is a giant fuck you at the start, and then Muchiro is like, oh, hey.
He warms up.
Yeah, he warms up. And then, right when they actually are forming, like, a relationship, Muchiro gets sent away to go, it's like, bro, you're purposely doing this.
Okay. The way he got sent away was like one giant win.
It makes sense, but also it's like, bro.
Does it? I feel that feels a little convenient to me. I mean,
if that's what if you're fighting an upper moon and you don't know his power, I'm saying I'm not mad at how he got sent away. I'm mad that he got sent away to begin with, right after they made development with their relationship.
And now it's just back to the classic Nezuko and Tanjiro.
Yeah, no, I don't even know what's going on. So it's Tanjiro and Nezuko. No, it's not. It's Tanjiro on his own and Nezuko and Genya. No interaction. That's what I'm saying. These characters are being sent all over each other, and it's like these characters have no interaction, no relationship.
And then when the opponent splits it, also
so they're just fighting random things, and it's like, what is going on? Why do I care about any of these guys? Or
also, why do I care about this demon? Like, I honestly don't care for the number 5 and number 4. I don't give any craps about it.
Granted, did you care about Daki and Gyutaro?
I cared about Daki.
Why?
Because I actually saw her being an asshole.
Okay, that's fair. They built her up. That's fair.
They built her up. Gyutaro, it took me like the...
He was just cool.
He was honestly...
Bro,
he had the cool factor.
He's fighting Tengen and actually giving him a challenge. I'm interested.
Also, he had the whole blood demon art that actually, like... It looked
pretty.
It looked really cool.
I think, what is it called?
But now with this new demon, like,
the two... Split, like, it's the same thing. It's like we're placing quality with quantity. They're giving us 2 Hashira, 2 upper moons. But then you're going the quality of, like, all the stuff that makes it good. The build-up to the upper moons, gone. The build-up to the Hashira and, like, the relationships, who cares?
Like, sure, we technically got the build-up for the upper moons in the first episode when we saw all the upper moons talk to each other. But those 2 upper moons, look, literally...
We weren't too focused on the other ones.
I was focused on Akaza. Like, it was been so long since we've seen him. I'm like...
Focused on upper moon 1. We got introduced to technically 4 new upper moons. We are not going to be focused on 5 and 4. We're going to be focused on 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So
okay, 1 and 2. Okay, Akaza's number 3, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. 1, 2, and 3 is the ones we really care for.
We care about Akaza because he's developed. We care about 1 and 2 because this is our first time meeting.
And number two literally
has a great personality.
Yeah, you literally.
He has a great personality. If he was in this arc, I would be fine with it because we at least get the general idea and character. 5 and 4, granted, the small one who's scared, that is his personality, and you'll see what happens. But like his personality is he's just a scared little.
I mean, look, number 4 being the artistic one who seems to be that kind of.
Is that I forgot who's who, but
I think number 5 is the scared one. Number 4 is the one in the pot.
Well, either way,
forgive me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, well, either way, the pot guy he's starting to form a personality, but.
It's not that I don't like his personality because, his real what he did with all those people.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, it's like you're sick-headed, cool, but like also, I like his design. I'll say that I think it's very unique.
I'll give
with the pod and all that, and like the lips for eyes and stuff. I love his design, but also there's no build-up, and the build-up we got was overshadowed by other characters. The Hashira, again, have no interaction. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mitsuri is the same thing we got from season 1. You know what I mean? Ah, cute. Oh, the only thing we get is like her relationship with Nezuko,
and we can finally see her blade, which is like a ribbon,
which I love. That's a whole other thing. But we just got that, and that is the reason why I say that is because as of recent episode, like this new episode, it has potential.
This new episode,
it could lead to something good. But
it can lead, but
it could also.
I think this episode was honestly like it taught me like what Demon Slayer is really good, like well known for build up, and they deliver on that build up tremendously well. The thing I don't like is how they do the build up. It's so asinine and boring, and I cannot care less.
But to be fair, that's why I mentioned we talked about every season. Every season does it, but it's about how you do it. Season 1, it's kind of slow, but also you're new to the series, so you're like kind of intrigued by everything. But by the end of it, it's really good. We got the Spider arc, we got the Hashira, that's all good.
Like I guess if we had to do like bar graph season 1, it's
it's like this. It's like kind of like up, it goes down, moves on, goes down again, and then Spider arc, which is
and then we go to the train arc,
and it's like okay, we meet Rengoku, we see him like awesome, then they fall asleep, and it's like, but it's not like too low, it just dips a bit, and then we get Tanjiro and Inosuke teaming up, and it's like, okay, this is pretty good, and then it right? Like we're already pretty up, and we're like, okay, this is really good, and then it's like, peak, you know,
take us, and then season 2,
and then
honestly, season 2 just immediately started at a high.
It started really good, and I would say the only time it ever dipped was the episode where
Zenitsu got caught.
Yeah, that was the only time where it dipped, but it was like this the whole time. Dipped and then like made up for it, and it just never went down.
Honestly, that's all I'll say. Like that was a perfect arc. I wouldn't change anything.
The only episode that went besides that, this is just me. It wasn't an episode. It was just a part of an episode. Was when Tanjiro and Tengen were like fighting Gyutaro for the second, like outside with the when his wife showed up with all the stuff. That just felt kind of like
the wives.
I didn't have a problem with that.
They were hit or miss.
They didn't do much, but they did what they were supposed to do.
I mean, like her being on the battlefield shooting, like
that felt useless. She was just a victim.
Yeah,
that's all you're there for. Cool. Leverage for Akaza.
You literally helped Tanjiro make a brand new fire water.
You're just there so Tengen can trust Tanjiro. That's literally it. But
pretty much,
I'm saying that whole thing, like it felt very dragged out because it was the end of one episode and then the start of another. But even then, that didn't like drag down any of it. It was just more of like that moment.
But also the battle felt so good because like it flowed perfectly.
Exactly. And we were cutting back and forth and we were understanding what's going on. Daki's weak, so we don't really need to focus on her and Zenitsu and Nosuke because all she can do is attack. They can do is defend. They don't really have a chance to go in because there's two sides and there's two of them.
And then when Tanjiro got sent to the Daki fight, because like Gyutaro had like a big blast and Tanjiro got flown off, and then now what's Tanjiro going to do?
3v1.
Boom. And the next time, once they finish that,
Tengen, and it's like, so it's just point is Entertainment District. It just skyrockets up. It never went down.
And then we start this
here. Episode 1 was so good, and then it just shot all the way back down, like lower than the start.
You literally go to the moon, you touch the moon, back down to earth.
And then it's slowly right now, and then it's like it's not really going up. Like it's going up in a moment of an episode, but then shoots right back down by the next scene, and you're like, you don't know what's going on. And then this recent episode, I would say it went up, but what's next? You know what I mean?
Are we gonna just have more like dialogue?
Yeah.
Like
What's
they ended on a cliffhanger. Like
and
what?
it was
Like
a good
what?
cliffhanger.
It was a very good cliffhanger, and I'm like, and then like the last 5 minutes.
It's really good, but our Demon Slayer, I will say, is definitely the clickbait cliffhangers where it's like they'll show you something, then they'll solve it in the
No,
first minute.
One Piece is I think guilty. One Piece,
Yeah, but I'm saying Demon Slayer is the worst at it because they'll have these high stake cliffhangers, and then you will be like, "I'm so excited," and then you click the next episode, and it's like, "Oh yeah, the best one." For example, I mean, look at this.
I'll never forget Demon Slayer episode 9 how they end. No, Demon Slayer episode 10 how they ended it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're not done. No, run away. So I'm like, did we lose? And you're like, and then it's like next episode. Oh, Nezuko got it. Don't worry. Like, it's literally just
Nezuko came out of the box.
hell. Even the cliffhangers are so good sometimes. Like the one where Tanjiro, they all died. Where Tengen, like, his arm, the city explodes, and Tanjiro falls back. That's like such a good cliffhanger. And then it cuts the next episode. And you're like, oh god, they actually, you know what I mean? So that was, I think, the best one because.
That was
it wasn't a clickbait, it was example. But a lot of these ones are just kind of. So that's why I'm saying with this next episode, where's it going to go? But I will say this. I am excited for the end because one thing we've learned from Demon Slayer is that they always have at least one amazing fight per season / arc. I count Muzan, not Muzan, the train arc and entertainment as two separate because one is a movie, and yes, it was also put in with
season 2
entertainment, sure, but I count those as two separate things. Because
I divide by arcs, I say.
I don't say arcs because season 1 is like 5 arcs, so you can't really say that. But
big arcs, true arcs.
I divide it by seasons, and I count the movie its own thing. So season 1, obviously episode 19 when Tanjiro fights Ryui. Mugen Train, that's what it was. It's Rengoku versus Akaza. Season 3, it's Tengen, Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu versus Gyutaro and Daki. What's this one going to be? And that's where I'm excited to see how they go off because, to be honest, Demon Slayer animation is good, but like there's been nothing special as of yet. So I'm waiting.
What? It's episode 5.
I'm saying like special in terms of like on the same level.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We aren't at that episode yet.
Still very high. I like.
Yeah, it was really good. No, but it's Demon Slayer.
Yeah,
I'm expecting that, which is why I'm like, so what's it going to do to shock me? Because as everyone says, the animation carries. So after a certain point, it's going to be stale if it's always, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And also the fact that Tanjiro said he learned how to control his breathing now and unlock his brand new form. That's why, actually, this kind of makes me worried, like, a little worried, because I'm like, Tanjiro, you know this new form, you know this new power. You literally just chopped off the head of like 3 level like Upper Moon 4. And then when I see him next episode against Ass Whooped again, I'm gonna be like Shonen 101.
It feels like with Demon Slayer, a lot of time what they're trying to do is get you excited, but at the risk of like continuity later on. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't flow. Like it's like if Tanjiro took. I mean, literally, he took down an Upper Moon, granted with the help of like a lot of his friends. But then now he's struggling to fight a doll, which I get. Like again,
that doll,
the doll just it rubs me the wrong way because the way that
I mean, technically, I think that doll was built up a little bit because we saw that doll fight like a Hashira, and the Hashira had to get serious in order to get one of his arms,
and
that's a little bit built up.
What feels weird is that like Tanjiro helped defeat an Upper Moon, so I guess it felt weird because you feel like Tanjiro is now able, and even when he fought Daki, you know what I mean? He held his own really well, so it's like. Okay, so Tanjiro is able to like not like immediately get one shot by an Upper Moon now. Cool. Now he's struggling with a doll. You know, it literally. I understand. Yes, he did fight a Hashira and all that, but it's also just like what's going on. And also the upper 5 he's fighting or whatever. It literally split into 4, and it said it gets weaker every time he splits. So it's like, and Daki and Gyutaro are 2. And this is 4. So why is he struggling when he was so close to beating Doc? And this is a higher number too. So it's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, he pulled an ass crap out of nowhere because Nezuko gave his blood, and then he was like, okay, I realized what's going on. And then I pull out my move, and then cool animation hits in.
Overall, my final thoughts are just like, I think it has potential to be really good, like later on. Obviously, Demon Slayer, every arc, like we said, it starts off pretty slow and gets by the end it's peak. You know what I mean? So this arc could just be a product of one coming off of Entertainment District and also the start being super low in comparison to what I feel like it's a weird middle ground of like what could happen near the end is really good and Entertainment District is really good, and this one is just lower than normal and it just feels worse to some extent.
You know what? I'll give you that one
Mhm.
because I really, really hope I eat my words and like this whole podcast, like when we say that Demon Slayer sucks and it just really surprises us. I really do hope.
I so I am a manga reader and I will say it doesn't matter at this point because one thing I've learned about Demon Slayer is the manga you know what's going to happen, but it's about how they adapt it because how they adapt it at this point is what I care about more than the actual. I don't say I don't care about it more than the actual story, but to some extent that there is some truth behind that because Tengen versus Gyutaro, that was a great fight in the manga. Felt very like it felt very like dead at the same time, and the anime just took it to a whole new level and made it feel like one of the best fights I've ever seen now. Versus the manga, where it's like this is just a normal fight, you know?
Yeah, I guess if I have to end this with one
Hmm.
little quote, I'll say this: Demon Slayer. I'm just gonna surrender now and say this: GG for you guys winning Best Fantasy yet again and beating Mashoga Tensei Season 2 because it's also coming out in 2023.
Tisk.
I'm already accepting it because Demon Slayer, I know they had the potential and they are going to go good.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Overall, we really appreciate all the support and love you guys have been giving us these recent episodes. Don't forget to colossal smash that like button and subscribe. That way you can stay up to date with all our latest episodes. If you guys have any questions or thoughts about what we mentioned, comment below. We love to respond to you guys. And if you have any ideas on what we could do moving forward, we're more than happy to take some of those suggestions and potentially do a whole episode on it. Thank you again, and you guys have a nice day.